Good evening, everybody, and welcome. As we begin today's meeting, we'd like to acknowledge that we are gathered here today on the treaty territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, before them, the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Huron, and Wendat. We also acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and other global Indigenous people that now call Brampton their home. We are honored to live, work, and enjoy this land. I'd like to begin with roll call. Deputy Mayor Singh. Present. Councillor Santos.
Present.
Councillor Vicente.
Present.
Councillor Brar.
Present.
Councillor Keenan.
Present.
Councillor Medeiros.
Present.
Councillor Fortini.
Present.
Councillor Tour.
Present.
Councillor Power.
Present.
Mayor Brown. Not present today. On approval of the agenda, we have no added items on the printed agenda.
Through you, Mr. Chair, no, other than just the note on the revised agenda that item 7.3 on the agenda has been withdrawn at the request of the applicant.
Right. So if anybody was here for item 7.3, the applicant has withdrawn that, and maybe I'll name it just to make sure. Item 7.3 was an application to the amended official plan zoning bylaw, Gagnon Walker Domes, Mario Mato Silverstro, Guido D'Alessio, and 205 Ontario Limited, 22, 24, 26, 28, and 32 John Street, Ward 3. The application has requested that be withdrawn. And on the sound of the phone, I'll ask everybody to put their phones on silent mode, please. We have a mover of the approval of the agenda, Councillor Keenan. All in favor? That carries. Are there any members that would like to declare an interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? Seeing none. The consent motion. We have statutory public meetings, public delegations. Our first item on that's possible for consent is 7.1 staff report, application to amend the zoning bylaw, draft plan of subdivision, KLM Planning Partners Inc., Upper Mayfield Estates, care of Caliber Homes, 05759 Mayfield Road, Ward 10. Any members like to hold that item? Seeing none. Item 7.2, staff report, application to amend the zoning bylaw, Goldberg Group, Cedar City, Greenvale, Mater Inc., southwest corner of Mayfield Road and Torbram Road, Ward 9. Seeing none. Correspondence, 11.1, correspondence from Joanne Hyde, Clerk and Manager, Policy, Toronto Region Conservation Authority, TRCA, dated May 15th, 2023, regarding Section 28 Regulation Mapping Annual Update. Seeing none. We have correspondence 11.2, application to amend the zoning bylaw MHBC Planning on behalf of Patel Land and Development Limited, 8383 Mississauga Road, Ward 5. And those items of correspondence will stick with the item that is 5.2 and delegation 6.1. Our consent agenda is being moved by Councillor Power. All in favor? That carries. Our first item is statutory public meeting 5.1, staff presentation, application to temporary amend the zoning bylaw, Sutherson and Family Holdings Limited, care of Blackthorn Development Corp., 5254 Old Castlemore Road, Ward 10, to permit temporary truck and trailer parking, including 154 truck and trailer parking bays for a period of 3 years. Is there anybody here that would like to hear a staff report, a staff presentation on this item? Is there anybody in attendance that would like to hear a staff presentation on the application for temporary amend the zoning bylaw for 5254 Old Castlemore Road, Ward 10? That item is adjourned. We'll receive the correspondence along with that, 11.3. All in favor? Moved by Deputy Mayor Singh. That carries. 5.2, staff presentation, application to amend the zoning bylaw, MHBC Planning on behalf of Patel Land and Development Limited, 8383 Mississauga Road, Ward 4. Is there anybody here that would like to hear a staff presentation on that item? Thank you very much. We'll ask for Edwin Lee to come down. Come on down, Edwin, to facilitate the development of a 6-story commercial building at 8383 Mississauga Road. Thank you, Edwin.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee, members of the public, and fellow city colleagues. My name is Edwin Lee, and I'm the planner assigned to process and review the subject application. The purpose of this public meeting is to provide information to the public and seek feedback on the application filed by McNaughton Hermson Britton Clarkson Planning Limited, or MHBC Planning, on behalf of Patel Land and Development Limited. Next slide, please. The subject property is located in Ward 4, municipally known as 8383 Mississauga Road. The subject property is located on the east side of Mississauga Road and south of Financial Drive. Next, please. This map shows an overview of the subject site and surrounding land uses. To the north, vacant lands, beyond which is Financial Drive. To the south, vacant lands and single detached houses. To the east, Sky Harbor Drive, beyond which are street townhouses, and to the west, Mississauga Road, beyond which are 1 to 2-story retail commercial buildings. Next slide, please. As you can see on the aerial satellite photo, there is an existing 1-story commercial building on the subject site with direct vehicular access from Mississauga Road. There is also existing transit service along Mississauga Road and Financial Drive, and Mississauga Road is a potential future bus rapid transit or BRT corridor. Next slide, please. The proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to facilitate the development of a 6-story commercial building on the subject site, which includes 934 square meters, or about 10,052 square feet of ground floor retail space, and 7,737 square meters, or about 83,281 square feet of office space above, and 218 vehicular and 70 bicycle parking spaces. The proposed development is approximately 25.75 meters in building height and has a lot coverage of approximately 39.2% and a floor space index, or FSI, the ratio of the gross floor area to the gross site area of approximately 2.08. Next slide, please. A tertiary plan is a detailed land use study to guide new or redevelopment proposals within a specified area. The goal of a tertiary plan is to ensure the new development contribute to and enhance the character, build form, and structure of the community, and reduce or mitigate adverse impacts to the surrounding area, including issues such as access, servicing, development or redevelopment potential. Once complete, any future development applications within this bounded area must have regard for the council-endorsed tertiary plan. The applicant has submitted a proposed tertiary plan as part of the site's development application. This tertiary plan boundary can be seen at the bottom left of the screen, with the applicant's submitted proposed tertiary plan in the main graphic. Engagement process is underway in accordance to official plan policies and associated terms of reference. The tertiary plan is underway and currently it's under staff review, and the final version will be included as part of the recommendation report. Next slide, please. Prior to finalizing recommendations and advancing associated final report to Council, this development application will be further evaluated for compliance with the Planning Act as amended, consistency with the provincial policy statement, and conformity to the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe as amended, and conformity to the in effect Region of Peel official plan, the City of Brampton official plan, and its Brampton West secondary plan. Next slide, please. The subject lands are designated business corridor in the City of Brampton official plan, which permits a range of employment uses, including office and retail. The proposed commercial development does not require an amendment to the official plan. Next slide, please. The subject lands are designated specialty office and service commercial in the Brampton West secondary plan, which permits office and retail uses. Therefore, an amendment to the secondary plan is not required. Next, please. The Brand West Secondary Plan, Sub-Area 40-1 Block Concept Plan, designates the subject site as mixed use, which permits office and retail uses. Therefore, an amendment to the block plan is not required. Given the subject site's frontage onto Mississauga Road, the proposed development is subject to Mississauga Road streetscape enhancement. Next slide, please. The subject lands are currently zoned as agricultural, as per the city's comprehensive zoning bylaw 270-2004 and amending bylaw 253-2021. Only agricultural and accessory purposes, as well as selected non-agricultural uses that comply with prescribed zoning standards are permitted on the subject site. Office and retail uses are not permitted within the current zoning. An amendment to the zoning bylaw is required to facilitate the proposed commercial development, and as such, next slide please, the applicant is proposing to rezone the subject site from the current agricultural zone to Office Center Section 2029 or OC-2029 and amend the OC-2029 zoning standards and bylaw 158-2010 to accommodate the proposed development. Next slide, please. The development application and associated treasury plan is currently under staff review from internal departments and external agencies. Some of the key issues and considerations include, but not limited to, appropriate build form and building patterns such as building height, massing, setback, and layout, appropriate intensive use in current and planned context, mitigating solutions to parking, access, circulation, and servicing, contribution to the future vision of Mississauga Road, and impact on future development potential on the site and within the treasury plan area. The aforementioned and other issues and considerations raised will be addressed in a future recommendation report. Next slide, please. Staff is hosting a statutory public meeting this evening to share information of the proposed development and to provide an opportunity for members of the public to express comments. The development application has been circulated to commenting departments and agencies after deeming complete on April 20th, 2023. Staff will continue to review the proposed development and advance a final recommendation report for council decision in the future based on the proposal's details, applicable planning laws and policies, while incorporating comments and considerations from committee members, technical review, and other stakeholders. Staff will also follow up with members of the public and other stakeholders who have spoken, written in, or advised of an interest in monitoring this proposal. Next slide, please. For more information on the proposed development, the applicant's submission materials, including architectural plans, drawings, and supporting studies, are publicly accessible through the city's brand plan online portal. Instructions are shown on the screen here. Next, please. This public meeting presentation will be available online as part of the Planning and Development Committee meeting minutes shortly. The final recommendation report will be posted on the city's PDC meeting agenda in advance of the future meeting. For any questions or comments about this development application, please contact myself, my manager, or the applicant, Stephen Sesu from MHBC Planning, who is representing Patel Land and Developments Limited. The corresponding contact information are shown on the screen. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Edwin. Great job. So we'll move to delegations. Before I begin with the delegations, I'd like to let everybody know that these are statutory public meetings. These meetings and this presentation were for the residents and the residents only. We're not to have any dialogue between members of council. Members of committee may ask questions of clarification, but you will receive a dirty look from me if you do. So just so everybody knows that it's everybody's right to bring forward an application, everybody's landowner's right to bring forward an application before us. And this is the statutory public meeting. So this is here for you and for you only. So I'll move to our delegations. Our first delegation is Stefan Stachu and Deborah Walker from MHBC Planning. Please come down. You have 5 minutes. No, you're here.
Am I speaking into a mic or
Yep, we'll turn it.
right here?
It's on.
Okay. All right, so my name is Stefan Staiku. I'm from MHBC Planning. I'm a senior planner, and I am the planning consultant for Mr. Parth Patel, who is the landowner of 8383 Mississauga Road. I'm present here today just to answer any questions from the public that is in relation to our development application. So again, I just wanted to start off by saying that we are in the very early stages of the application process, and more technical details will come forward as we get closer to site plan approval. But I'm willing to answer any questions with the details we have so far.
Thank you very much. Thank you, appreciate it. Our next delegation is Narasimha Murthy Balasubramanian. You say it? Come on down. Thank you very, no, we have your information. You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay, I'm a resident of 252 Sky Harbor Drive, right next to this proposed building. We bought this property in 2015 from the builder, and that property was a house when we bought it. And it was a new area with new schools and stuff, so I have a kid studying grade 10, and it was a nice area, so we bought it. And in the last month, we saw this board right next to this lot saying that there'll be a proposed office coming in here. So I was thinking, I mean, we bought this house just because it was a residential area, and there were school parks and all the grocery stores right next to the street, so it was easy for us to live there. Having an office at this location and having an entrance coming into Sky Harbor, it puts in a lot more traffic into a residential street. And right now, you look at every house, they have like 3 to 4 cars, and some of them park their cars in the street. And there isn't enough space. It's a 2-lane road, and cars are parked in the street, and then you can't access the street you have to cross the car first to see who's in the street. And my son, he plays in the street during the school holidays and stuff. So having, say, 200 cars from an office building at any time, or like even 50, 60 cars, and that road becomes a commercial street rather than a residential street. And that shouldn't happen because we bought this property because it was a residential street. Mixing office entrances or even office building right next to a residential is not a proper planning. So, I mean, the city should take a step forward in making plans in such a way that the offices are built separately than residences. So mixing up together creates more traffic and then eventually creates accidents in the same street. So even if there is a proposal to build an office or whatever it is, it can be done, but the entrance and the exit should be in Mississauga Road or to Financial Drive. It shouldn't be on Sky Harbor Drive, because people have to use that Sky Harbor Drive to access that building. So at some point in time, they have to access it. Either they go in or they come out, they have to access that. So it becomes really difficult because it's a small street with a lot of residences and kids playing in the street. So it becomes more of a hassle and a noise. And if I knew this 5 years back, there was an office coming here, we wouldn't even bought that property there. So the city should make sure the plans are done in such a way that the offices and the residences are separate, built separately, and we have more privacy and stuff as a residential area. So that's what my consideration is, and that's what I want the city to consider in developing this plan.
So city staff will take your questions, and that'll all be captured in the report.
Sure.
And again, it's everybody's right to come before us and put an application. This
Sure.
isn't the city's application.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your delegation.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Our next delegation is Namrata and Jay Acharya Brampton residents, come on down, you have 5 minutes.
Is it okay if I read my notes?
100%.
Just so it's
Yeah, for
faster
sure.
and, so I wrote it down, maybe a few points. However, I'll just, so we are here to express our strong opposition to zoning change for this file number, the proposed rezoning by law amendment for the residential to a 6-story commercial building for mixed use for the subject property located at 8383 Mississauga Road, Brampton. So first of all, there was no indication of where the notices regarding the proposed amendments were sent, and but we suspect only a few were delivered into our neighborhood mailboxes. Upon physically doing a door-to-door survey, it was disappointing to find that most of the residents were unaware of any such notice and did not get any notice from the city by mail. Almost all these unaware residents that we were able to reach during the short notice have opposed the proposed amendment to this zoning bylaw. There was no indication of where the notifications were sent. None of the residents residing even on the Sky Harbor Drive, south of Wattsville Drive, are unaware of any proposed zoning change proposal. This lack of information denies and suppresses a majority of the neighborhood of their right to represent and express their support, opposition, or comments to this application for site zoning change. Traffic and safety of pedestrians are major areas of concern. Sky Harbor Drive would be the most affected road since the only 2 vehicular access that have been proposed for the property are both from the Sky Harbor side, and that's the major concern for us. With the planned parking space of 218 cars in the plan submitted for the property and factoring in another at least 25% visitor traffic plus frequency of in and out at 50% rate, the anticipated vehicular increase would be around 380 cars per day. A substantial load on the road that is just an internal neighborhood 2-lane road, approximately 4.5 meters wide, that's according to the Google tool. While the traffic may be lighter on average, the local neighborhood traffic will disproportionately surge during morning and evening rush hours, causing traffic issues during critical times for the existing neighborhoods. The traffic surge during morning rush hours will also negatively impact safety for children. Since we have some disabled children in our street, and the students walk to the school in the morning, my son is going by bus, the school bus stops right there near our house, and that will get affected. In general, the area traffic is continuing to increase, and heavy traffic is already common at times on Sky Harbor Drive, which may not have been anticipated during the last rezoning approval. There may be a disabled child near the new building. We have few common concerns about the commercial vehicle entrance as well, since there is only one entrance on Sky Harbor Drive. So we are pretty sure that the commercial vehicles like trucks, delivery trucks may be going in and out in that street, and it's completely unsafe, and that's something like the major area of concern for us. So that's the major area. Why is this vehicular access offered only from the internal residential area of Sky Harbor Drive and not Mississauga Road? Schools in the area are already reported at overcapacity, and the council should not approve multi-family dwellings that creates a situation that will cause school concurrency to fail for this proposal and other approved plans. Property values are likely to go down in the area if the zoning, as he said, like it's going to go down, and when we bought looking at our the neighborhood and the residential area.
I'd just like to add one thing. Last couple of days we were in the streets and we got almost 150 residents, all of them, not a single one left over. Everybody signed the petition against this construction. So everybody strongly denied, they're opposing the commercial building at least on that property. Thank you so much.
Okay. Do you want to
And
submit
if we
the,
have time, if we get more time, we can even get more people signed in. Thank
so
you.
there's always an opportunity for you to send emails to staff
Yes.
with all of your concerns.
Yes.
Plus, your area counselors are listening in, Councillor Keenan, Councillor Medeiros. They're listening with great intent to hear what everybody has to say. You can email them, you can email staff, anytime,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your delegation. So that was our last registered delegation, but I'd like to ask if there's anybody here that would like to come down and delegate to committee today. Now's your opportunity. I'm going to ask you to come down. You're going to sign your name and address, put your address in our book, and then come on up, and you have 5 minutes. If there's anybody else that would like to come down, you can come down and sign your name in the book.
Good evening, my name's Tony Iliopoulos. I live on 234 Sky Harbor. And I also moved in 2015 as well, and the area's changed. I would like to first start off with, there's a lot of young people in our area. If people could raise their hands up that have children that play in the area, basketball and other things on the street there and on the driveway. And another question is, how many people have senior citizens that are walking and riding their bikes on the path lanes? It's just going to make it a lot more busier. There's beautiful path lanes, bike lanes, I should say, that people walk in the evening time, in the daytime, all hours of the day, going to the store there. It's just going to cause a lot of more congestion around that area there, I believe. Traffic, noise, pollution, maybe losing the sun at the height of the building. Just backing out of Sky Harbor at times is difficult because the road ends up wide and then it narrows, and you need to pay attention when you're getting in your driveway or getting out of your driveway. Sometimes even when you're pulling in your driveway, they're honking at you to get into your driveway. So we have this going on now, and I think it's just going to be an escalation of more things coming down the road as that road getting busier with noise, pollution, and all that kind of stuff. That's all I'd like to say. You know, they fixed it really nice with bike lanes and stuff like that, and people are using the bike lanes. People are walking their pets, seniors, all ages, and I think that gives a lot of character to the community when you see people walking in their leisure time. I think it gives it character, and it gives it a sense of community when you see people walking instead of cars and congestion, trucks delivering. It will come to that point. Eventually, I don't know what the parking lot's going to be. Is it going to be by card? And then eventually it could be they get rid of the security and then anybody could come in the parking lot. I think that's also a future problem that I could see that going on there too. And yeah, that's all I got to say for right now. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much for your delegation. If anybody else would like to delegate, you can come down, sign your name in the book.
Yes, I'll actually sign. Good afternoon. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to come present. I want to start off by saying for city planning staff to actually go to the city streets where they're actually trying to approve stuff, to physically visit the place, not look at the maps, not look at the report, to get an idea of what they are really trying to move with the application. And I think it's a clear miss here. City staff has zero clue, in my opinion, even to enter an application. You're right, they have an idea, people should give an application. We have big lands right at the intersection of Financial and Mississauga. There's a whole pack of land which is empty. There the offices can come. It has accessibility from everywhere. People can have a proposal, they can do whatever they want to do. But you have crammed up these townhouses, and the city bigger plan, whenever it was done, they've also put these houses, buildings coming behind it. So every row, the first row is right in the beginning of, what's that called? Olivia Mary. And that's already a problem. There was a live work proposal, and they have so slow in developing that it's becoming ridiculous now. It's like a staggered approach with no thought process. Now what has happened is you have this corner lot. There's a house somebody didn't sell when the builder bought everything because they thought they'll do something, and the city allowed it. Now we have planners like them and the city people who are actually looking at it without physically seeing the space. You gotta have a visual, correct? You know how many homes are there with young children? There's already a traffic problem. The lights don't work. There's only one stop sign. Wardsville School is like 5 minutes. You walk from there, you're right at the intersection of Wardsville. You have literally no room. And how can you even think of giving the access from Sky Harbor? Like, this makes no sense. Like, I would recommend Mr. Lee, who's the lead planner, actually go to the site, take some pictures, take a note of the city. And this is also for the state clerk, I honestly feel. Staff should physically go to the locations which are already settled before they start giving recommendations or entertain planners to come up with solutions. I know we have to develop, we have to do the right thing. Secondly, facade. Every time the city cries about facade, you can't have this house like this because it goes against our facade policy, right? Now, you had a monster house situation back in Kennedy a long time ago in Peel, which got shut down. Like, why this is not being considered as a monster activity right in that facade? Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, I don't understand why it is so hard here in the city that we don't have a common sense approach. I don't want that business to fail. They can come with a better proposal. And we got to do a better job in the long-term planning to have the right approach. I mean, we are all everyday people here, right? We have jobs to go, we do go by our lives. You are representing us. You got to come there, have a look. Who are these people, correct? Like, the whole point is you can't be sitting in your towers, in your offices and getting a feel. You are the regional, not in our board. Where is our regional? Martin should come there. He hasn't been there in a while. So I think people should have common sense approach. You don't live there, guys. We live there. Correct? If you live in that neighborhood, you're already having a problem with city services there, which is a separate issue. I'm not going to talk about it today. So the problem here is that we are not collectively looking. I find that we have a blind eye approach here in the city. I think they're very qualified people, like Mr. Lee, like this company which is trying to do it, and they are thinking from the client's perspective. How can we visualize city can get more revenue? How can the client get the maximize? And also, this time I want to repeat one thing what people said. There was no public information available. That's ridiculous. Like, how is it possible that there's a small parcel land which is going to have such a major impact, and city, if you're the city clerk, where is the effort made to tell the residents? How much money do we pay towards this to make it available? Like, it's ridiculous. Like it is totally ridiculous. It is not unheard of. Just because most people in the city don't say a thing, it goes under the road. And I think this is a real case study where city has to really take in account the thousands of dollars they're making in city taxes there with no plan for how future development is going to look like. And why is it staggered? Why would you not talk to the builder, Daniels, to give them access from that cutout? Why are you going from Sky Harbor? Because those buildings are no come in the back. Daniel's going to make it, correct? Oh, 1 minute, Ronnie. Thank you. No, that's good. I like that. See, now this is another city tactic. You don't want to get people to get passionate. Bottom line here, guys, I've been living in Brampton for a long time. I feel that what is right is right. We don't want to stop the development. We just want common sense ideas. I know the province has a plan. I know everybody has a plan. But the city staff has to take the extra step to go to the physical site in developed areas before they even engage or entertain. And these consultants should also do the same. They should actually go there and make an honest opinion than taking the dollars from the people to say we'll make a plan and it'll get proposed. And then everybody is aggravated. And so also city has to do more, Mr. Fay, to really tell people what's happening. And that was a big miss in this one. And that's the real reason that people are coming from their jobs, leaving everything, and trying to do this last minute. And that's not done. That's not a fair game in the city where we all pay taxes. That's it.
Thank you for your delegation. So last call, is there anybody else that'd like to come down and delegate? Anybody? Okay? Like I said before, you can always send emails to your area representatives and staff as well. When this report is written and comes back with the recommendation, everything that all your concerns will be captured within that report. So thank you very much for coming. Councillor Keenan, you'll move receipt of 6.1, the delegations, and 11.2, the correspondence, and 5.2, the application to amend the zoning bylaw. All in favor? That carries. Our next item is staff presentation, application to amend the zoning bylaw, Airport Highway 7 Developments Limited, Glenn Schnarr and Associates, 9125 Airport Road, Ward 8. Is there anybody here? Is there anybody here to hear a presentation? Is there anybody here to hear a presentation on the application to amend the zoning bylaw, Airport Highway 7 Developments, Glenn Schnarr and Associates, 9125 Airport Road, Ward 8? Yeah, 100%. I'll wait until the gallery clears, and then I'll ask again. I just want to make sure. Okay. Item 5.3 is a staff presentation, application to amend the zoning bylaw, Airport Highway 7 Developments, Glenn Schnarr and Associates, 9125 Airport Road, Ward 8. Is there anybody here to hear a staff presentation on this item? This item is adjourned. Next item is 5.4, staff presentation, application to amend the secondary planning and zoning bylaw, Apoca Carpenters Limited, Ken Devcon Limited, 4584 Castlemore Road, Ward 10. Is there anybody here that would like to hear a staff presentation on this item? We do have a registered delegation. Which one's that? 6.3, Piyush Sheth? Piyush is online. Piyush, would you like to hear a presentation, or would you just like to enter into your delegation?
Piyush, can you please unmute your mic now? And we're just clarifying if you wish to hear a presentation on this item or just delegate to committee.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I would like to see the presentation.
Perfect. So we have a presentation from Andrew Ramsamy. Andrew, come on up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, members of committee, the public, and city staff. My name is Andrew Ramsamy, and I'm the planner assigned to process and review the subject application. The purpose of this public meeting is to provide information to the public and seek feedback on the application filed by Apoca Carpenters Limited and Ken Devcon Limited. Next slide, please. The subject property is located in Ward 10 and is municipally known as 4584 Castlemore Road. It is located on the north side of Castlemore Road between Clarkway and the Gore Road. Next slide, please. This slide shows an overview of the surrounding area to the site. The surrounding land uses are described as agricultural lands, which are planned for future medium-density residential, low-density residential uses, as proposed in application file OZS 2021-0038, and valley lands to the north. To the south is Castlemore Road, and beyond are existing residential subdivisions consisting of single detached dwellings. To the east is agricultural lands, which are planned for future district retail, as proposed in application file OZS 2021-0038, and valley lands. And to the west are agricultural lands, which are planned for future medium-density residential and high-density residential uses, as proposed in application file OZS 2021-0038. The site currently consists of a one-story detached dwelling and a freestanding barn-like structure to the rear of the property. Next slide, please. This slide captures another aerial view of the subject lands that show an overview of the site and surrounding area. Next slide, please. The application is to amend the secondary plan and zoning bylaw to facilitate residential development. The proposal consists of low and medium density residential lots, 3 medium density residential blocks, 1 high density residential block, district retail block, as well as park blocks, a vista block, a stormwater management pond, natural heritage system area, and buffer blocks associated with that natural heritage system. Next slide, please. The following are further details of the proposal. The lot has an area of 16.39 hectares, which is approximately 40.5 acres. The proposal consists of 111 single detached lots, as well as 48 standard townhouse units, stacked townhouse units of 90, and an apartment proposal of approximately 436 apartment units. This will be, please note, the apartment block of high density will be subject to a future site plan application. Of that unit breakdown for the apartments, approximately 222 units will be 1 bedroom, approximately 170 units will be a 2 bedroom, and approximately 22 units will be 3 bedroom units. Next slide, please. Prior to finalizing recommendations to council, this application will be further evaluated for consistency with the Planning Act, the provincial policy statement, conformity with the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe, the Region Appeal official plan, and the City of Brampton official plan. Next slide, please. The subject lands are designated residential and open space in the City of Brampton official plan. The residential designation permits residential land uses, including a full range of dwelling types, ranging from single detached houses to high-rise apartments. The open space designation indicates major open space features. These features include public and private open space, valley lands, watercourse, corridors, wetlands, and woodlands. An amendment to the official plan is not proposed. Next slide, please. The secondary plan designates the property for high-density residential, medium-density residential, low-medium-density residential, parquet, stormwater management facility, a heritage resource, district retail special policy area 9, and valley land. The high-density designation permits apartments, back-to-back townhouses, stacked townhouses, and a senior's residence. Special policy area 9 applies to land designated medium-density residential, where mixed uses are permitted to include retail, office, personal, and service commercial, institutional, cultural, and entertainment uses, residential and related community facilities. An amendment to the secondary plan is proposed. Next slide, please. The secondary plan amendment proposes to amend the low-density the low medium density residential land to medium density residential, and to amend the high density residential land to a special policy area, classified as special policy area 13. This special policy area proposes to apply specifically to the land located on the north side of Castlemore Road that is currently designated high-density residential, and it is to permit medium and high-density residential uses with a minimum building height of 4 stories and a maximum building height of 8 stories. Additional policies are proposed regarding the building orientation as well. Next slide, please. The block plan designates the property for high-density residential, medium-density residential, low and medium-density residential, valley land, park, a stormwater management pond, cultural heritage resource, and a vista block, as well as service commercial. And it is also partially located within the town center boundary. No amendment to the block plan is proposed. Next slide, please. The subject property is currently zoned agricultural and floodplain as per zoning bylaw 270-2004. The agricultural designation permits agricultural uses such as single detached dwelling and group homes. The floodplain designation permits flood and erosion control, any conservation area or purpose, and or purposes in public parks. An amendment to the zoning bylaw is proposed to facilitate the redevelopment of the subject site. Next slide, please. The applicant is proposing to amend the zoning bylaw from the current agricultural and floodplain zone to site-specific residential designations for single detached purposes, as well as townhouse uses, and a site-specific zone for residential apartment uses. A site-specific amendment is also proposed for the commercial lot or commercial portion of the subdivision that aligns with the secondary plan and block plan. The proposed zones will include mixed residential frontages and dwelling types. Next slide, please. This slide summarizes where we are in the planning process. To date, the application filed with the city was deemed complete on April 5th, 2023. The application was circulated to commenting departments and agencies. Notice of the public meeting was issued, and we are currently at the public meeting stage. Moving forward, staff will continue to review the application, including reviewing comments from the public and technical comments. Issues raised will be addressed in the recommendation report, and the final recommendation report will be advanced to council for decision. Staff will contact and follow up with those residents who have spoken, written in, or expressed interest in monitoring this proposal. Next slide, please. Considerations that will be reviewed include support for Housing Brampton, the city's comprehensive housing strategy and action plan, how the proposal fits into the town center designation, potential impacts to the existing community, and as well as opportunities to achieve a higher sustainability score from the current bronze score achieved. These issues and others that are raised will be addressed in a future recommendation report. Next slide, please. The development application can be accessed by the public through BrandPlan Online. Through BrandPlan Online, members of the public can click the search for an application link, then type the file number of the application in the required field, which in this case is OZS 2023-0008. This then brings up a file page where clicking the File tab will open a drop-down menu where the Documents feature can be selected. This will allow all drawings and documents associated with the development application to be viewed. Next slide, please. The report and slides associated with tonight's meeting is available online. The presentation will be available online shortly. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact myself, my manager, or the applicant. The applicant is Maria Jones from KendevCon Limited, representing the owner of Apoka Carpenters Limited. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact myself, my manager, or the applicant. Thank you, and this concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much, Andrew. We do have one delegation listed, Piyush Seth, Brampton resident. Piyush?
Piyush, you can
Hi.
proceed.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Please proceed. You have up to 5 minutes.
No, so I'm just a resident here in this area, and I'm just south of this site. So my house is, if I am standing in front of my house, I can see this site, and currently it's very open, and we enjoy a view over there. So just wanted to understand the planning here in this area. Because right now it's open green space, and as I said, it's already very busy area here, the very busy location, Gore and Castlemore. So I've been talking to some other residents in my street, in my area, and they are also kind of curious to know what's coming up and how busy this area will be. So I just have a question. So for the apartment, how many floors we are looking at? I understand anywhere between 4 to 8.
How many floors?
How many floors for the apartment?
Through Mr. Chair, yes, the application is for a range between 4 to 8 stories for those apartment buildings fronting onto Castlemore.
Okay, and what is the timeline for the construction, and what's the timeline we are looking at?
So Piyush, this is the statutory public meeting, so
Okay.
I know everybody would love to see timelines, but we don't know that yet. We need to look at the application and evaluate it, and if you want to give Alan Parsons a call or send him an email,
Okay.
he'd be happy to take any more of the questions there.
And I will have more opportunity to attend this kind of platform in future, and how, because this is the first time I'm attending this kind of meeting, so I just wanted to understand.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're doing very well with the questions that you're asking, and you can email your counselors, and you can also email staff anytime that you have any questions about this application, as more information comes out.
Okay, that's it for me today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will ask then, is there anybody else in the audience that would like to delegate? Come on down. If you can sign your name in the book. Anybody else? Name and address? Name and address. Name and email address? Yeah. Shoe size? Welcome.
Hi. You can start the time. I'm going to be pretty short. I appreciate seeing high-density housing being built in Brampton. I've lived here since I was a kid, and for me and my friends and people my age, it's really sad to see more sad-looking, boring, identical single-family houses being built over and over and over again, going on, into the horizon, with like a single school and a strip mall beside it. It's nice to see high-density housing being built, a place where maybe I can afford at some point in the future. Maybe I don't have to live with my parents till I'm 30, and I can actually have a place of my own, in the place that I grew up, that's relatively close to the institutions and people and family and everything I've really known my entire life. And I appreciate that things like this are being built for this area. Right, thanks.
Thank you very much for your delegation. Last chance. Anybody else like to come down? Seeing none. This has been moved by Councillor Tour. The presentation, application to amend the secondary plan, zoning bylaw, Apoka Carpenters Limited, CanDEFCON Limited, 4584 Castlemore Road, Ward 10, and the two delegations, item 6.3 and the added delegation. All in favor? That carries. Our next item is 6.2, Delegation Minister Zoning Order Request, 545 Steeles Avenue West, Ward 4, David Cherenzenko, Bosefield, Inc., on behalf of King Knoll Developments, letter dated May 26, 2023. It's a good date, May 26. Is he online?
Yes. David, you're online. You can unmute your mic. We see it unmuted, and you have up to 5 minutes to address committee.
Good evening, committee members. My name is Dave Cherenzenko. I'm a senior associate at Bosefields, Inc. We are urban planners, urban designers, and community engagement specialists that assist the development community with bringing new and exciting developments to our existing communities. This evening, I'm asked to speak to you on behalf of the owners of the subject site at 545 Steeles Avenue West. The owners are King Knoll Developments. And this evening, we are requesting council's consideration of a ministerial zoning order to facilitate the redevelopment of a commercial plaza on the subject site that has been the subject, unfortunately, of fairly significant public health and safety concerns over the years. And the proposal, which I will describe hopefully with the assistance of my correspondence, can be brought up on screen, will help facilitate new residential development on the subject site, together with increased non-residential uses, including a new grocery store for the community, and in consultation with surrounding institutional uses, opportunities for ancillary uses to support most certainly Sheridan College, which is just across the street from the subject site. Is it possible that I can share, or it can be shared on the screen? I'm seeing the previous delegation's presentation on the screen, and if I could share the plans for the subject site, that'd be great.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we generally do not allow externals to share content, just as a security issue. We do have your letter, which is with the agenda. Do you wish to?
Okay, fabulous.
Did you submit? Did you submit what you want us to share?
Yes, in the letter that was submitted, the correspondence under 11.34. Sorry, if you scroll through just after the letter here, there's a series of plans, elevations. Perfect. So I can't control, but let's leave it on that. So you should be able to see on here. Oh, okay.
It's finicky. Give us a second.
No problem.
Okay, there we go. There's.
Okay, so here's a site plan of the proposed redevelopment of 545 Steeles Avenue West. You can see here it's located at the southwest corner of McLaughlin and Steeles Avenue West. As I mentioned, it's currently occupied by commercial plaza with outbuildings for Tim Hortons and Wendy's. The proposal is to divide the site into 4 development blocks with a new private street connecting Steeles Avenue West in the middle of the property to McLaughlin Road, just south of the intersection of Steeles and McLaughlin. That road facilitates all of the vehicular traffic that from the proposal to come off of Steeles and McLaughlin Road. So all of the entry points to the blocks are internalized to that private road network. Furthermore, I'll individually introduce each block. So the block at the northeast corner of the site, so that's the southwest corner of McLaughlin and Steeles, is block 1. It's consisting of a 5-story podium with towers of 25 and 30 stories above it, sorry. That 5-story podium will have a total of 2,500 square meters of non-residential space, which, as I mentioned, could include a grocery store to serve the development and the existing community surrounding it, as well as additional space to provide some ancillary uses to Sheridan College, which is just across the street.
David, you've reached your 5 minutes, so are you able to wrap up?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, the site has been the subject, unfortunately, of some public health and safety concerns, and it's our opinion that the request for a ministerial zoning order will facilitate the orderly development of the subject site and is consistent with council's direction for future requests of ministerial zoning orders.
Thank you very much, David, for your delegation. I have on the board Councillor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, David, for your delegation. And just to start off, 545 Steeles Avenue West, we all know well, maybe some of my colleagues would know it as College Plaza, which has definitely been on the city's radar for a lot of issues. And reading through what was submitted, it definitely see this as taking a lot of the boxes, for me, and in dealing with those while addressing some other main issues that we have in the city with housing and space for post-secondary. And an MZO is something that you don't take lightly. I did notice, and you referenced it in your delegation, but you also stated it on page 20, the City of Brampton's framework for an MZO request, which was presented at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on June 20th, 2022, which came with recommendations from staff to meet some of those, to get an MZO, or at least what we're looking for. So I think with this, what I would like to do is refer this delegation to staff to come back to us at the next council meeting for consideration with, just, are we meeting that criteria? And if there's anything else that staff sees that should be brought to council's attention. So I don't know if I can move that. I don't know if there's any other speakers that want to speak to this or not, but I'm happy to hold my referral if there is. If not, I would like to move a referral.
I'm trying to see the chat function. Nobody? Okay.
Sorry, yeah, Councillor Chair Palashi, I put my hand up. I'm not sure if that.
So you can see
I
it.
thought I could see his hand there.
It's there.
Oh, I can see it on there. Oh, sorry, Councillor Medeiros. You're up. Councillor Keenan will hold the referral.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, and I forgot to use the protocol. I confused the region with the city, so I should have actually put it in the box, so my apologies. Yeah, and I'm happy to support Councillor Keenan. I think that's a smart move. What I'd be interested in, I think from the delegation, thank you for the delegation, you had mentioned the ancillary services to Sheridan College. So just as, because I must confess, this is the first time I'm hearing of this project or your initiative, and notwithstanding, this has been an area of negative attention. So, I think we're all welcoming, fresh eyes on this and a project that, could change the area. But have you had the opportunity to consult with Sheridan College? Have you had the opportunity to consult with Holland Christian Homes? Or, is that not something that has been contemplated at this point?
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you very much for your comments. And absolutely, a stakeholder engagement plan has been drafted by our company and will be discussed with city staff through the implementation of a subsequent site plan application process. But it's very much our intention to actively engage not only our neighbors to the south, but the local institutions which we feel have an opportunity to expand some of their services to the subject site, as I mentioned, particularly in Block 1, where there's availability of somewhere in the range of 2,500 square meters of non-residential space that would be primarily available to them, together with what we thought was most important for the community is also providing space for a new grocery store.
Yeah, and thank you through you, Mr. Chair. So I guess you haven't at this stage, and you know it's good to hear that you'll develop a stakeholder plan. And I guess my last comment to staff through you, Mr. Chair, if it's appropriate. Can we just? I'd be interested when you report back in terms of the servicing. We seem to be whenever there's an interesting project that we're trying to move in Brampton. There always seems to be some servicing questions, and so if staff can find out if there's currently capacity at the area, and then after from a traffic perspective, because you know I do travel that way pretty much every day, and I do know, for example, the traffic already at that corner, you know, is quite significant, and so I'd be interested if staff can, you know, as much information you can get, at least to sort of give us some idea of what. You know, what you anticipate could be some of the traffic. But other than that, you know, I appreciate and I support Councillor Keenan's referral. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Medeiros. So the referral's on the floor. It's captured in the, I'll read it out. The following correspondence, the Minister Zoning Order Request 545 Steeles Avenue West, Ward 4 to the Planning and Development Committee meeting of June 5th, 2023 be referred to staff for consideration and report thereon to the June 14th, 2023 meeting of council. And the correspondence from David Cherezenko, Bosefields Inc. on behalf of King Knoll Developments be received. Been moved by Councillor Keenan. All in favor? That carries. Thank you, David. Our next item, we got the correspondence 11.4 captured in that as well. Thank you. Councillor question period. Any members of council have any questions? Seeing none. Item 13, public question period. Are there any members of the public that would like to come down and ask any questions on anything that was on the agenda today? This is your time, opportunity. Come down, ask any questions. Seeing none, we have no closed session. It's been moved by Councillor Vicente. Adjournment. Our next regular meeting is Monday, June 26, 2023 at 7 p.m. or the call of the chair. All in favor? That carries.